I didn't hold this camera for some few days now. If I remember correctly, my last video on this channel was pretty much like 4-5 days ago. And for me, given that I prioritize content creation, I have come to realize that content creation is part of the hustle. And I said to myself, I am going to do what I have to do to make sure that at least I'm able to get out one piece of content every given day, because my life is pretty much content. Every aspect of my life, this hustle to try to make money, with a business, with a job, having a wife, kids, pretty much family, driving around every day. That is a lot of content there. I'm telling you guys, because we live in a time where your neighbor just want to see what you are doing, what you are eating for dinner or lunch. This is how the society has become. I'm not here to say if it's right or wrong, but this is the time that we live in. And if you want to kind of win, you will not try to, reinvent the wheels. The wheel of making money online now has pretty much said, if you have a way of capturing people's attention, I'm telling you, because people are making brain rot content that adds literally zero value to you, and they are cashing out big time, making a lot of money on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook. They are paying them just to make this brain rot, no brain content. Somebody comes out, just laughs and gets 100,000 views, 10 million views, and the person smiles to the bank with 20,000 euros, 10,000 euros. Guys, I'm telling you, this is the generation that we are living in, or we have found ourselves in. And I said to myself, content creation is part of the hustle. There used to be a time where we all were thinking that what's content? How can you make money being a content creator? How can you monetize this attention, these people that click on your videos and stuff like that? Guys, it's no longer a mystery. The way to make money with content is pretty much clear. Pick up your camera, just like I have tried to pick up my camera now, and you post a piece of content that will, ideally help the other person on the other side. All right, that is in the ideal situation. But in other situations where it has been proven now that even content that do not help educationally, could also be a piece of, good content. It could be a content that just helps to entertain somebody. Somebody is passing through a difficult time, doesn't know what next move to make. Person has tried everything. It might be marital problems, it might be financial problems, and the person now doesn't need to be educated more, because they've tried literally everything in the books. Nothing is working. They just want to sit down and be entertained. And this is where your content might come in. It might come to address that need. And a lot of people just want to be entertained. When it comes to making money online, I used to make the mistake that people want to really learn how to make money. Then I post a bit of content, giving you guys the game, how to make money, selling used computers or pretty much selling stuff on eBay. Nobody watches the video. Nobody. And then you make a video about how you made 10,000 euros in a day, a video that makes no sense, because this is not something that is kind of realistic. It's not possible to have an e-commerce business. I'm talking about the super mega warehouses. I'm talking about you as just an individual buying things from the thrift store and trying to flip it on a marketplace like, say, eBay or Facebook. It is literally not possible to make 10,000 euros a day. Of course, on the long run, over a week, over a month, over a year, you can do that easily. When you make those kind of videos, videos that are meant to just entertain people, telling them how they can make a lot of money in a day, they click on it. They click, they watch to the end, even when everything is being said in that video makes absolutely no sense. This is what we have found ourselves. And I'm not here, like I said, to judge whether this is right or wrong. I'm just here to do my job, to be part of the hustle, which is to make my content. But I have told myself that whatever piece of content I'm going to put out is going to be a content that will encourage somebody, will make you a better person. Perhaps not today, but ultimately it is some information or some knowledge that you can put in your toolbox that will ultimately help you. And the information I'm giving you today is that content creation is part of the game. If you have not been prioritizing content creation, you are doing something wrong. You might have a reselling business. Whatever you do in your warehouse, in your garage, I'm telling you guys, it is content. When I was bringing out this camera to mount it here and make this video, I had absolutely nothing to talk about. I was like, what do I say? But something in me kept saying, bring out the camera. When you bring it out, you are going to have something to say, because this is what it is. Of course, it might take you quite a while to get to this stage. When I started a long time ago, pretty much like 3 years ago, I also had the same problem, which is suddenly realized that I didn't have anything to talk about. All right, this is a stage, and the more you persist in that stage, even when you do not feel like doing it, you don't have anything to talk about, you still bring out your camera and try to whip up something from your brain, from your experience, something that somebody did wrong, something that somebody did wrong, something that a customer did, an item that was returned. I give you guys something that happened just today. This morning I woke up at about 5 o'clock trying to post an offer, because eBay is still on the slow side right now. I don't know what's going on, but we'll leave this gist for another day. All right, I posted a laptop, a Lenovo, I don't know the model, just a ThinkPad. All right, I posted it. The price for which that item was posted was wrong. I didn't see it. It was an oversight on my side. It was posted. Few minutes later, somebody wrote me an email, asking to find out what kind of guarantee is on the item. And I was like, it hasn't happened for so long that I post an offer and immediately somebody wants to, somebody's making a request or trying to inquire more about the item. So I went back to take a look. I knew that this might be it's something hiding there, that somebody quickly reached out and want to know if there's a guarantee on the item. I checked, only for me to realize that that item was listed for about €100, lesser than what I intended to list the item for, because sometimes we make this kind of typographical error. I wanted to click on 3, and somewhere down the line I clicked on 2, and the item was live on eBay. Luckily nobody had bought it. Even if somebody had bought it, it would have been very easy I would have canceled the transaction, because the laptop in this case was being sold for about €241, which is just not possible to sell a laptop with that configuration at that price. All right, this is something that happened, and if I wanted to make content out of that, that is an easy thing to do. But like I said, if you are not seasoned in the content game, you might be thinking that, who's going to watch that kind of video, who's going to listen to that kind of video. Yes, there's going to be somebody. I'm not saying that you might get 300,000 views, but there might just be that 1, 2, 10 people that want to listen to your story. See how you overcame a situation where you listed an item and the item was listed for the wrong price, but luckily enough you were able to catch this thing and make sure that you didn't sell like at a loss, or the buyer also wasn't offended because they bought the item and you had to cancel the transaction, or stuff like that. There are 1,001 things that you can talk about. Content, my friends, is part of the hustle, and we are going to be prioritizing it. And when the reselling content comes along, when things are selling or when things are back to normal, of course we're going to be showing you guys the items that I've sold, the kind of item that you should buy and flip for profit. I flip laptops, desktop PCs, monitors, phones, tablets, and stuff like that for profit, and I've been doing it for a very long time. I can say that there is money to be made if you concentrate your effort in trying to make it work. Trying to kickstart the process might be a little bit tricky, might be a little bit difficult, because of the way things have become right now. There's so much competition. Good inventories are kind of hard to get. 5-10 years ago wasn't like this. Cost of doing business generally is on the rise, and people's purchasing power is not so fantastic as it used to be. Because of that, it might be difficult to get things off the ground. But if you are you're already following this channel for say over a year, you can pretty much say that I do not advise that you put all your eggs solely on reselling. I am an advocate of you having multiple sources of income. You know, it could be reselling, it could be content creation, it could be a job, it could be whatever you do, freelancing, whatever you do, as long as you have multiple sources of income, you know, an income source such that when one income source is kind of suffering or kind of having its low days or slow days, as the case may be, you are not caught wanting. You can still pretty much do what you have to do. You can still feed your kids, you can still pay your rent. Exactly the same game that I am playing. I'm going out to the warehouse, even though I have not really gotten very good transactions today, but hopefully before I leave the warehouse, something will be sold and I will be happy to show you guys. You know, I've got decent laptops listed and I'm just so sure that it's just a phase. Whatever slowdown or meltdown we are experiencing right now is not the end of the world, because I understand that this business that we are in, there's going to be a lot of seasons. There's going to be time where you're going to be balling. There's going to be times where things are going to be a little bit slow, just like we are seeing right now. And if you have other things to do, like myself, you can pretty much be doing it. A few weeks ago, I reorganized the warehouse. Today, I'm going there. I'm going to clean the warehouse floor, which is kind of a lot of space, so that will take me about an hour or so to finish. I didn't do that for so long. I'm going to take a look at some items that still needs to be listed, see how I can list them, you know, possibly edit some of my listings, you know, just shake things up, do this kind of bulk edits so that the shop gets kind of, you know, new activities, because nobody knows if the system is also playing some tricks on the offers or the listings. I'm going to do that, and in between, thinking of more ways to generate income for the time that I have. You know, it could be content creation, because if I find anything that's going to be of interest to you guys, I'm going to turn the camera on and I'm going to record something so that you guys can see. I encourage you guys to be subscribed to the channel if you are not. Support your boy. The grind is on fire. We are doing what we have to do to make sure that this channel gets traction. We are posting content, we are interacting with the content, we are reacting to, replying to comments and stuffs like that, and we are following up on trends. You know, when the eBay trend about GameStop buying eBay came, we were also there, and any other news that is relevant in the selling community, you are definitely going to get it on time. So to make a lot of sense, if you are subscribed, click on the like button. Until I see you again in the next one, peace out.